the room kind of got loud for a second and then super quiet. And none of us knew what it was. So it could have been there since I was young. I don't know. But it was asymptomatic. And so nothing would have prompted a test for it.
I'm Dr. Scott Law. Welcome to the Smile Doctors Off Mute podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Smile Doctors Off Mute podcast. You are in for a treat today. Today, we have one of my favorite people. You're going to get to really learn about him, his background, and then how he has applied challenges and opportunities in his life to become the person that he is today. If you're not tuning in on video, I'd recommend that you do. There are a few photos, a few videos about what he's about to describe. And I can guarantee that it's going to be emotional and impactful and one that you won't forget. He is who he says he is. And that'll come across today. So, George, welcome to the podcast.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So it's 2026. We're excited about this. I see you still have some Christmas decorations up. And
I can't put them down. Can't put them down. 2026, it's been off to a great start so far. I've got some New Year's resolutions that I'm hoping to stay more consistent with this time. It always lasts, a week or so. But we'll see if we can do better this year.
Cool. What's your top one? What are you getting?
It kind of goes into part of what I want to get into a little bit later, which is kind of like my motto and that kind of thing. But it's just to really kind of double down on that and focus more on it and really just to be more present in life.
Love it. I love that. Okay, cool. See, I knew this was going to be fantastic. We're off to a great start. All right. Well, let's go back to the beginning a little bit. So, you have a very unique story, kind of an origin story of how you got into ortho and when you knew you wanted to do it and kind of made a declaration statement. Tell us a little bit about that back when you were 13 years old. Yeah.
So when I was 13, I told a local newspaper that I wanted to be a Harvard trained orthodontist. And the thing about that was I honestly didn't remember that at all, that I had said that to the newspaper, not because it wasn't true, but because I said that to everybody. It wasn't a one-off thing. I told everybody who would listen. Kind of was my mantra since I was just a little kid. I decided in seventh grade, actually, and it's going to sound a little bit dramatic, but it's true, that I was going to become a Harvard-trained orthodontist. Not that I wanted to or hoped to, that I was going to. And I locked in on that for reasons we'll probably get to later. But at the time, I wasn't exactly lighting up the honor roll. I remember bringing in my mom to bring your parent to school day or whatever, seventh grade social studies class. And my teacher, Mr. Paulson, casually mentioning my 17 missing assignments, and D- started to make more sense at that point. But I needed something big, something stubborn enough to drag me out of that. And orthodontics became that North Star for me. I said it constantly. So I remember saying it to my guidance counselor. I remember that conversation. I remember the way he smirked at me, like he probably smirked at 20 other would-be athletes or, astronauts that same day. I remember saying it to myself that this is it, whatever it takes. I remember, thank God for my parents. I remember saying it to my parents. They didn't laugh. They didn't push back. They just asked, how can we help? But the newspaper thing totally slipped my mind. Just some interview for Volunteen of the Week, some award I got for some charity thing. I guess I said the Harvard line in there and they printed it, and I totally forgot about it until graduation day. I'm scrolling my feed, congratulations. And I see a little subtle, understated post from my mom that's just a picture of this newspaper clipping. Said clear as day right there. George hopes to attend Harvard University, where he plans to study to be an orthodontist. And this is it right here, actually. This is a newspaper article. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. We got to get a clip of that. Okay. We'll put that in.
I'll send it.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty sweet. I mean, when my mom posted it, I laughed. I probably cried a little bit.
Sure, absolutely.
But one of my favorite faculty members in residency actually took that article and shrunk it down and turned it into a keychain and gave that to me for a graduation gift and just handed it to me and said, remember where you came from. I carry that thing every day, man. It's
wow.
This tiny, perfect reminder of the stubborn 13-year-old kid, just wouldn't shut up about his dreams. And
sure,
somehow it happened.
That is so cool. So were you inspired to it? Did you have a great ortho experience, or did you just land on orthodontist? Why orthodontist? Do you know?
Yeah, I wasn't exactly crushing it back then academically. I was just focused on, winning as many most likely to's in the yearbook as possible. And I got some funny ones looking back on that. But I was pretty tuned into, the other kids, what made them laugh and what gave them a spark and what crushed them. That was, the kind of the worst part there. Bullies are ruthless, man. Middle schools, they can be harsh. And I saw firsthand how something like somebody's smile can just become a target for that.
Right.
One of my closest friends got hit pretty hard for the way she looked, and her smile was a big part of that. The teasing kind of chipped away at her over time. She just got quieter and pulled back, stopped joking around. And I just kind of watched my friend disappear in a way. Yeah. She just kind of lost herself, and fast forward a little bit, she got braces. And at first it honestly just gave the bullies some new material. But fast forward like a year, you start to see that smile creeping back in. You hear her crack a joke in the hallway, and slowly I got my friend back. And more importantly, she kind of got herself back. Looking back, that's really what it was. It's not just cosmetics. It's about giving someone their confidence back. And if I could do that for people, sign me up, whatever it takes, the studying, the late nights, like I'm in. So it wasn't like a logical thing back then. It was just a gut feeling, seeing someone that you care about go through that. I'm just a stubborn son of a bitch. So I just didn't drop that.
I love how intuitive you were as a 13-year-old to pick up on her struggles. That's very, very unique. Most 13-year-olds are heads down, just looking in the mirror, just thinking about how everybody else is looking at them. And you were able to pick up with that with her. That's amazing.
I'm a person of faith. And I believe it was God stepping in, honestly. I remember I was not ambitious at this point. I wasn't some overachiever. I was floundering a little bit. I needed something bigger than myself to grab onto. And this really clear, stubborn, bullheaded vision just kind of fell in my lap. I didn't understand why, but I knew I needed it. It just kind of gave me the direction that I needed. And orthodontics changed my life for sure. I mean, orthodontics saved my life. I can say that without a doubt. Call it destiny or luck, or for me, it's all God. He saw what I needed.
That's amazing. Tell us about that. How did it save your life?
So it's not an exaggeration. For starters, orthodontics is how I met my wife. I scooped her right out of the dental hygiene program when we were in dental school together. And
phenomenal.
She blessed me with two beautiful little girls, and they are my life. So there's that. But it goes deeper than that. Kind of looking back, match day 2017, I'm in dental school, just refreshing my emails like a maniac, just waiting for those match results to come in. I get that notification. There's correspondence in your profile, whatever. I text my wife, my girlfriend at the time, like, hey, I got it, but I'll wait to open it with you. She knows how nuts I am about it by then. And so this was the longest day ever, man. Oh my God. I'm supposed to be making this like RPD in the lab, and my mind is nowhere near it. So not my finest work, I'm sure. But finally we open that email together, and I read the words, "Congratulations, you have matched to Harvard School of Dental Medicine." Dream come true, man. I mean, I was pinching myself. Scott, even with your big muscles, you couldn't pinch me hard enough to snap me out of that one, man. Like it was nuts.
What a feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I didn't know why yet, but I knew it. And then beyond that, fast forward to residency, a few months in, a line is pretty generous with donating cases to these residency programs. And most of the residents end up just doing a little touch up on themselves or whatever, treating a friend. And I figured, why not? Like, I'll be my own first patient with the help of my co-residents, my program director. Sure. And part of the Harvard curriculum is these case presentations. You put up the initial records, progress records, treatment plans, whatever, and kind of up to the critique of the department. And it's usually entertaining, sometimes competitive, but just something that you have to do. And I didn't have to put myself up there, but I thought, why not? Like, let's have them roast me on my pagonion or whatever.
Right.
But I didn't expect.
That takes a lot.
Yeah.
That takes a lot. Because you know they're gonna get you for something. Yeah.
I mean, they already roast me for my chin before seeing the X-ray, man. So, but what I didn't expect was for them to see something else entirely unrelated to my teeth. On my ceph was a brain tumor. Oh. Yeah. Still wild to say that out loud. But we're all sitting there staring at the ceph like every ortho case. And we see this shadow, this mass that nobody could really explain it. It wasn't dental. It wasn't normal. The room kind of got loud for a second and then super quiet. And none of us knew what it was, but I brought it to the radiology director. He kind of kicks me over. I get an MRI, get a CT scan. A week later, it's like, it's a pretty large, fortunately asymptomatic brain tumor, but it's growing in a seizure center. And it's one of those things that like any day could trigger if I'm driving or working on a patient, who knows? Like, you don't have a warning for that kind of thing. Fast forward a couple months, I'm sitting in a recovery room at Mass General Hospital, one of the best neurosurgery centers in the world, which is 10 minutes down the road from my apartment. Surgery went well, thank God. A week later, I'm back in the clinic treating patients. Surgical cap on. I don't want to scare the kids. It's not Halloween.
Yeah, right.
But if it weren't for that stubborn middle school dream, I wouldn't have found that thing. I wouldn't have been living down the street from world-class surgeons. I wouldn't have met my wife, right? So to me, seriously, that's God.
Wow, George. You talked about how you're a man of faith and talked about how God has a plan for you in that way. Why? Why do you think?
There's too much for that to be a coincidence, I think. I mean, like I said, I was not a particularly ambitious kid. I was a computer gamer. I was trying to be class clown. I was kind of into music. If anything, like my natural career field would have been music. But if I would have done literally anything else with my life, I wouldn't have taken that ceph. I mean, I didn't have ortho treatment as a kid. My family couldn't afford it. So it could have been there since I was young. I don't know. But it was asymptomatic. And so nothing would have prompted a test for it. There's just too many stars aligning for me for it to be a coincidence. And it's just been so incredibly validating for me to know that, this is what I was meant to do. It's destiny, luck, whatever. But I know I'm damn happy doing it.
Yeah. That's amazing. How has it changed how you've moved forward?
Yeah. I mean,
as an orthodontist, as a person, it's put you in a pretty unique position.
Yeah. I mean, for starters, I'm around to show up to the office. But beyond that, I look at every ceph. I'm looking for stuff that most doctors wouldn't look for, I'm sure. But more importantly, I think, is how it's affected my stress response. I just don't really experience stress in the same way anymore. I joke that the surgeon took that part of my brain out. But I think there's some truth to that. I mean, when you go through something that forces you to reckon with how fragile life is, and at the same time is that profoundly validating moment that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, the little stuff just does not matter. Traffic or running behind schedule or insurance, whatever, like, it's noise. And if you're able to tune that noise out, you can make room for what really matters: the patient in front of you, the team around you, the family waiting at home. it just makes presence achievable in a way that it wasn't before. And like I said at the beginning, a New Year's resolution is just kind of doubling down on that and just being around more. In today's digital age, like TikTok scrolling and social media pings and just checking your phone every 5 seconds, and just being an orthodontist, we're juggling a million plates. It's hard to be present. But I've got a pretty powerful reminder on my keychain that it's important.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And what's that on the keychain? Is that the newspaper article that you talked about?
Yeah,
that's that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool that you carry that with you.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
One of the greatest gifts I ever got.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so you graduate from Harvard. The world is your oyster. Where do you go from there? What do you do?
I didn't really know what was next. My dream forever was become an orthodontist, go to Harvard, all that stuff. And then I didn't really think much past that. And so when the dream happened, it was kind of a, okay, now what moment? And the answer was go home. Home was roots. It was authentic. It was me. It was, I spent years in Boston surrounded by prestigious, whatever, flashy, whatever. And it's cool.
Yep.
But it made me realize how much I missed just realness of where I came from. People who say what they mean, neighborhoods where everybody knows your family. It just feels more real. And home meant contribution. I seen firsthand how great care could change lives. And I wanted to be a part of giving that to families like the ones I grew up with. And honestly, it meant a future for me. My wife is from the Metro Detroit area too. That's where we met. It was dental school here in Detroit. We wanted to raise our girls in a community close to family and friends, with these Midwestern values, which means something to us. So Harvard was awesome. It was my dream forever. It probably saved my life. But Detroit was home.
That's cool. That's cool. So what have you tried to do? So in your practice and you're back with your people in that way, what's their experience like? What do you try and do for them?
Sure. I always had this pretty clear picture in my mind about the experience I want to give to my patients. Cause it's a lot more than straightening teeth. So
tell us about that. What's more about it?
Yeah. That feeling when you first walk in the door, I want it to be relief, excitement, like they just stepped into a place that gets them and understands this is big for them, whether it's like a nervous kid getting braces on for the first time or a parent who's been putting it off for years. Most people associate dental appointments with anxiety, just kind of cold, rushed, judgmental. And I try to be the opposite of all that, just genuine and not in a hurry. Like you're coming home to a friend who's excited to see you. I just want every detail to say, you are in the right place. This is going to be easier than you think, and this will be worth it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful. So as a leader with your team, how does that translate over to your team? How do you treat them? What do you encourage them to do?
Yeah. I think it's really just lead by example. Like presence is the key to all of that. If you're sitting there and your team comes to you with a difficult patient or something difficult in their own personal life, and you're scrolling your phone or answering emails or working on a clean check at the same time, that doesn't say I hear you. That says I'm busy. Mm-hmm. And I think just leading by that example, having the team treat their patients the same way, just really making every patient and every interaction feel like it's the most important thing going on. That's how you make someone feel welcome. And that's how you make someone feel like this is the right fit for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing all that, George.
Yeah, of course.
That's amazing. Let's see. So you mentioned that your wife is a dental hygienist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us, I've heard stories about this. So just tell us a little bit about your wedding and
sure.
What you guys did for fun.
Sure. So modern love story. We meet on Tinder, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We went to the same dental school, so it counts.
Okay.
And
cool.
that's the detail that the grandparents know. But yeah, she was in the dental hygiene program when I was on the gunner track for sure.
Sure.
And, we both went through recent messy breakups with long-term significant others and downloaded Tinder on a whim and scrolling through and damn, this girl's cute. The way she goes to my school. Okay, let's see what happens here. Yeah. And best decision ever to get this app. But it really just helps that we speak each other's language. She understands like what the whole career is like, the emotional highs and lows of it, how it can be just emotionally exhausting, especially if you're not like a super naturally extroverted person, which I certainly have introvert qualities. But yeah, the wedding cake was something cool. There's this beautiful, classic white tiered wedding cake. Sure. Traditional in every way, except for the topper. Just a pair of molars getting married. Just like us, we're nerds, man. It's what brought us together, and it felt like the most authentic way for us to celebrate. If we're willing to put these dorky teeth on our cake, I think it shows that we don't take ourselves too seriously. Sure. But we take the impact we have very seriously.
Yeah. I love that you own it. That's fantastic. So
got to, man. Super cool. There's no other way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So your parents now.
Yes.
And so you're building a family. You have 2 little girls. So how's it changed the way that you parent?
Yeah. So, it's changed the way I do everything in life. Welcoming these 2 beautiful girls into the world has been the single biggest transformation in my life for sure.
How old are they right now?
So my older daughter is 4. My younger daughter is 15, 16 months.
Cool.
Yeah. Just little ones. Got my hands full, but we're sleeping. We're sleeping.
That's good.
But no, it's definitely deepened my empathy for every parent who walks through the door. I definitely understood like on an academic level before what it means to feel like, you want your kid to feel confident or, carry themselves the right way in the world. But now it's here. It's something I feel it. Mom worried that her daughter's getting teased, or a dad like wanting his son to speak up more. It makes me reflect on like, what kind of world do I want for my girls? How do I help them smile fearlessly? Right. So there's that. And then there's the whole, like, how do I contribute back to the community? There's a sense of responsibility there for sure, that we have to build this community up. That's why I'm invested here in Metro Detroit and kind of building up the practice and providing accessible care, supporting local families, mentoring, kids whenever I have the opportunity to do that. Really, I want the neighborhood to be a place where kids feel seen and supported. I share that with every parent who comes through the door. We're all raising our kids together.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So talking about your motto of being present and your New Year's resolution 26 to be even more.
Yeah.
Tell us how you're applying that. How are you doing that? How can some of us who, struggle with that, what advice would you have?
Yeah. So I would say that I tend to be pretty good at that in the office. When I wake up and I'm fresh and I'm not tired and I haven't had 1,000 conversations yet, I can go in and do that well with my team. I want to be better at home. I want to, be able to give my family and the people who really, really, truly matter most that same level of attention. But it is harder to do when you see them every day and you're surrounded by them, and you're emotionally and physically drained from everything you've done that day. And now is my time to scroll through my feed or whatever and catch up on what's going on in the world. But does that matter really? It's the connections that matter. That's what I read on X or Twitter or whatever. That's not going to matter. Right. So it's all about being present beyond the workplace and kind of carrying that forward into my own personal life. But the big one there is turn off the phone. Put the phone down. Eye contact. Show up. Just be there more than just physically. And that's something that it's been something I've been working towards for a long time, but I know I can do better. And 2026, I'm going to.
I love that. I found that I just deleted the social media apps off my phone.
That's huge.
That was the best. If I need to check, then I do on a laptop or something. That's great.
Yeah, it's a trap.
Yeah. Oh man, you get sucked in. Yeah, hours. It's crazy. The report at the end of the week that Apple sent you to be like, hey, here's how many hours you wasted. It's embarrassing. It's like, all this precious time is going away.
If they did one of those, like that Spotify year in review for that, I wonder how sad it would be.
Oh Oh yeah. No, well, they'll do it on a weekly basis. You can see how much screen time you have.
Yeah.
So the screen time report is just like,
I see those. And sometimes they are disturbing. It's like you average however many hours a day. But I wonder, like, you extrapolate that out, like over a year, how many weeks did you waste? Right.
Ooh, seriously. Yeah. I get that. And then my other favorite thing, and you might try this, this is kind of fun. With little ones, when I get home, I get on their level. I lay on the floor.
That's great.
And then they know that's their time, right? And so it's fun. Wrestle around with them, and they fall on you, and they careful because you'll take a book to the face or whatever. Like they just drop it on you. But it's a lot of fun to get down there with them. So
yeah, no, I love that, and they'll love that too. I mean, they're right at that level right now. Tickle fights and all that, right? Heck
yeah, that's the best. That is awesome. Very, very cool. Well, George, I'm inspired by you just with the way you've lived your life and how you have had things that have come across your path, impacts that have been made on you, and then how you take those and you've just redoubled your efforts over and over on being the person that you are. I'm grateful to know you, grateful for your impact and for your presence. You are, and I see it now, you are, whenever we meet or we get to see each other at a meeting or come face to face, you are always there. And it's like, okay, you're there with having taken a deep breath and just present, just available. And it's a great thing. I am going to do better in 26. So you've inspired me for that. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. I mean, that's a huge compliment coming from you. And if it shows even a little bit, I know I'm doing something right here.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.